Ripple builds as Wall Street seeks to block. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mitchell here. And what do I mean by, Wall Street seeks to block as Ripple builds? So Ripple is trying to, and Circle really, is trying to get banking license. And Wall Street does not like that. Other banks do not like that, right? It just competes with them. So Circle and Ripple are seeking national trust bank charters in the U.S. Representatives of the traditional banking industry are lobbying to prevent the applications from being approved. They argue that granting stablecoin issuers bank charters would let them compete with commercial banks without meeting the same requirements. So there's some good and bad in this. So let's just get into it. If approved, Circle's Trust Bank would act as the official custodian of the USDC reserves. Meanwhile, Ripple would bring the custody of RLUSD reserves in-house. So that's XRP, Ripple's stablecoin, right? It even says the type of banking permit Ripple and Circle are seeking is known as National Trust Bank Charter. National Trust Banks don't accept deposits or issue loans, but they are allowed to custody assets, manage client funds, and offer other financial products. So it's operating kind of like a bank, but not exactly. And that's where the bank's like, whoa, like why? How would they be able to do that if we're not be able to do that? And there's some protection even for us as retailers and people. So because right here, this is kind of the bad. Circle and Ripple, however, are seeking to mimic the depository business of a traditional bank without the requirements, restrictions, and compliance obligations that accompany a traditional bank charter. But that's what the ICPA charged. So if that is actually true, it's not necessarily fact. That's just what they're charging, what they're thinking. That's what they're thinking Circle and Ripple's wanting to do, which may not necessarily be the case. We haven't heard or seen a statement from Ripple or even Circle about this, that they're like, oh yeah, we definitely don't want the requirements, restrictions, the compliance obligations. Like, oh, we're trying to undercut that. I think they're trying to do it legit and, legally, but this is the pushback. We're just in the beginning of all this, right? This is all very new. Even says national trust banks are part of a system that was designed in the wake of the 1929 Wall Street crash to insulate the retail banking from riskier financial activity, which, again, being new, crypto is seen as risky, volatile, all these things. It's not well known. It's not understood. There's things happening and changing constantly. And we're in an era of crypto, I think, and more adoption and more understanding, but it's still in the early stages. So people, especially, the feds and banks and Wall Street is definitely going to be very skeptical, and they're going to use this time to take your money, which is what I'm going to show you right here next. So right now on CoinMarketCap, the overall market is, sitting around 3.8 trillion. There's still a lot, but, down a little bit, 1.46. But this is what I'm going to show you, especially with XRP. I'll start there first. There's some liquidity hunting going on. And I'll show you a chart after this. Just going to stay here on CoinMarket real quick. But, we popped up this move right here, this big move up, was basically off of the MasterCard and XRP news that came out. There was a billboard, I think, in New York that sparked some, like, whoa, is this happening? And that's off that news. It popped, but immediately, as you see, met resistance and dropped back down. And I'll show you on the chart, it kind of matched up with this bullish pennant we're kind of in, but we're going to have to wait. It's kind of a nail biter. A little bit of just, we get to the top and it drops immediately down, and then we get to the bottom and, we find a little bit of support, and it's getting smaller and smaller. But, even in Bitcoin, to drop below 110 was a major line, and as you see, we have. And so it's like it's knocking out, long trades. When it pops up here, it's knocking out short trades. So people are very leveraged. They're seeing that, Wall Street is seeing that, and they are using that to, especially if you're leveraged, which I don't have any investing advice on this channel. This is for entertainment purposes only. But if you're, if you have leveraged trades, probably not a good idea. Even if you're an experienced trader, it's very hard and not something I preach on this channel. But again, not in investing advice. You do you. I'm not going to do that, and I don't have anything leveraged. But yeah, I mean, they're liquidity hunting, and they know in this time when there's some fear and there's some uncertainty and there's stuff moving and things are being, picking up, especially in XRP with potential banking charters and stuff like that in the future, that they're like using this time to spread fear to, knock people out of their position to maybe even buy some of XRP and hold it, because that's what, institutions and stuff own XRP, regardless of maybe what you might see, right? And they're kind of really just trying to take it from you. So yeah, here's the chart real quick. We'll look at, this bullish pennant that it's in, rejecting when it gets up here, finding support when it gets down here. And yeah, we had this big green move up and then immediately, boop, reject it. 21 EMA sitting there at the top, but at the bottom, you got some of the Fibonacci as well as this trend line. So you have some support. And, I have to say it, along with anything that's actually going on in crypto, you have FUD. You have the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You have the tariff news still that's lingering, happening, switching, and you have the Fed interest rates that may or may not happen next month. I mean, you still have war going on in Russia and Ukraine and Israel and stuff. You have these things that are happening globally too that is affecting the market and affecting crypto, because the crypto, isn't really its own entity right now. Maybe one day will be, but not right now. And, it follows kind of the stock market and follows Bitcoin. XP follows Bitcoin and follows Ethereum, and whichever, those ultimately follow Bitcoin, which again is, down below kind of the support, and we're kind of under it right now. So it's kind of looking a little bearish, but again, at least for me, what I'm doing is just kind of waiting and seeing in dollar cost averaging small amounts, because there is some liquidity hunting. So when you see it's down, people are like, oh, they're going to open up leverage short trades, and then those are going to get taken out. And then when it goes up, people are going to, put in leverage long trades, and then those are going to get taken out. So it's a lot of that right now, and especially in XRP, just waiting to see how this pattern plays out, if it breaks up above, if we break below. So, it doesn't really change my plan of dollar cost averaging and having that risk management, but I just want to let you guys know that's what I'm looking at. That's what I have. Kind of keep you guys informed that there is, Wall Street is trying to, for other reasons, outside of, Ripple just wanting to get a banking charter. They are using that to take your guys' XRP, take my XRP, if we're not careful, and do some liquidity hunting, especially if you're leverage trading, which again, I don't recommend, especially if you're a beginner, but your life, you do whatever you want to do. And that is it for this quick video. Again, stay vigilant, stay cautious, stay watching, reduce your size if you need to, always have a plan. And in that plan, always, take profits. And it doesn't have to be you sell your whole position. But I hope you're along the way taking profits, especially if you're in profits, which the last time I checked in XRP, it's like 80 to 90% of people holding are in profits. So hopefully you're taking a little bit off the table. But again, as always, your life, you do whatever you want to do. Thanks for giving me some of your time, checking out my channel here. And maybe I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.